In today's video, we're going to take a dive into how to fix muscle imbalances. Now, what I mean by muscle imbalances are antagonist strength ratios. So for example, a muscle on one side of the joint compared to a muscle on the other side of the joint and pulling kind of in opposite directions. So antagonist muscles. And then we're also talking about ratios between, for example, a left leg and right leg, left arm, and left side of the body to right side of the body. So come follow along. I'm going to be sharing my 3 top tips and then take a deep dive into each one of those. My first tip is to train your muscle weaknesses first. Now, what I mean by that is almost having an unconventional order of exercises, or what might sometimes seem as an unconventional order of exercises. So for example, let's say we take our typical Monday for most guys is bench press day or is chest day. They're gonna step straight into the gym and go straight on to a barbell or a dumbbell bench press, for example. Now, if instead you started out with some cable face pulls, or you started out with some rear delt flies, something to open up your chest, something to improve the strength of your shoulder, external rotators. By the time you get to your barbell bench press, which is very kind of anterior dominant and is working those internal rotators at the shoulder joint, then you're gonna be feeling a whole lot better barbell bench pressing. Yes, you've got to put your ego aside a little bit because you might not be bench pressing as much as you did previously by doing some exercises beforehand. But in the long term, you're going to feel a lot better. That bar's going to go up a lot smoother, and that's because those antagonist muscles and all those stabilizers within your shoulder joints are all nice and active and nice and strong because you've been placing them at the beginning of your workouts. Tip number 2 is to include more unilateral or single-sided work within your workouts. Most exercises that we do in the gym are bilateral. That means we're using 2 legs or 2 arms at the same time. Now, life doesn't happen like that. You know, even if you're walking is a unilateral movement. We're using 1 leg at a time. When we're doing things during the day, we're using 1 limb at a time, or we're using them in slightly different ways. So you've got a lot more real world application if you're doing single leg work. But then also from a correcting left-right asymmetries perspective, you're also able to spend a little bit more time and focus on the weaker side as compared to the stronger side. And that could also include things like techniques where you might end up doing more sets on the weaker leg as compared to the stronger leg. So for example, you might do 3 sets of Romanian deadlifts on your right leg, or single leg Romanian deadlifts on your right leg, and 2 sets of single leg Romanian deadlifts on your left leg. That's if your right leg was a little bit weaker. So we've done more sets, added a little bit more volume to allow it to catch up. My 3rd tip is to pay attention to antagonist strength ratios. So what I mean by antagonist strength ratios are looking at your antagonistic muscle groups. So muscles on one side of the joint and muscles on the other side of the joint. So for example, my quadriceps are on one side of my knee that extend my knee, and my hamstrings are on the other side of my knee that flex my knee. And they're kind of in competition with each other. In my arm, you've got my bicep that flexes my elbow and my tricep that extends my elbow. So we've got 2 kind of basic ideas there about kind of antagonist muscles. People don't often consider the ratio or how strong certain antagonist muscles should be. So for example, your hamstrings should actually be proportionally stronger than your quadriceps. Now, it's really, really hard to test that. However, what you're going to know is that if you're training your quadriceps a lot more than your hamstrings are inevitably going to be a lot weaker in proportion to your quadriceps. So you do need to be including more hamstring work. And as mentioned earlier, you can start out with hamstring work at the beginning of your workout or later on in your workout. So there's less of a priority with your quadriceps. A lot of people have issues with the glutes. You know, we can start with glute and hamstring work and then finish out with quadriceps work at the end. So it all goes down to that exercise order as well. So you've just heard 3 of my top tips for improving your muscle imbalances. Hopefully you've got some take homes that you can use yourself and correct some of those imbalances using the advice that we've given today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe.